10 years ago, it was a storm that left eastern Port St. Lucie underwater.
Day was nasty, a lot of rain. The water, I bet that from that swale, I bet I had water up to here. It just couldn't go out fast enough.
Tropical Storm Faye dropped more than a foot of rain in 24 hours, leaving dozens of roads impassable and entire neighborhoods cut off.
All of PSL from US 1 east, the roads were holding significant amount of water for, I think, at least a 2-week period.
That really set off the floods.
Ginny, a resident of Port St. Lucie for more than 40 years, says she felt powerless as the water flooded her home on Giffen Avenue.
We got a call from our neighbor. We were in the state of Washington on vacation, that we had water in the house, and we had never experienced anything like this at all. We did not have flood insurance, so we did get a little assistance from FEMA, but not much, and it was all at our own expense, which I think cost us close to $60,000 by the time we got done.
While the original drainage system was built to acceptable standards, city leaders felt stories like Ginny's were anything but acceptable, and EWIP, or the Eastern Watershed Improvement Project, was born.
So the city did an Eastern Watershed drainage report to go out there, study the basins, and use that to establish some new standards.
With new standards came new flood mitigation improvements and new water quality restoration efforts. The project included the construction of 3 major stormwater treatment areas, 1 stormwater management pond, 4 stormwater treatment facilities, upgrades to 2 existing drainage pump stations, and the widening of a pump station intake channel, as well as the removal of exotic vegetation from drainage canals. The $36 million project was funded in part by an increase to residents' stormwater assessment fees, which will only continue until the project is fully paid off in 2039.
We're very happy with the project that the city did. Since that time, which has been 10 years, we have not had a problem. The water drains, and we're very happy with it.
What we have here is something that has saved the neighborhood from getting flooded. Obviously, the water runs in here and is processed by nature before it is discharged. And it's just been a wonderful thing.
But the strength of the project wasn't just in fixing drainage and water quality issues. It also looked to strengthen communities.
So making sure it doesn't flood, but then turning it into amenity, turning a weakness into a strength.
A lot of dust, a lot of dirt. Well worth it, though. I mean, well worth it on a few counts. The pond looks gorgeous, just for us that are lucky enough, or any of the people that are lucky enough to have the extra greenery space. But it's worked, no doubt.
The fact that the city put a bench in an area across the lake from me where people can pull in and sit and watch the wildlife as well makes it sort of a dual purpose thing.
As it turns out, when you plant native plants in the right way, it's beautiful. So not only does it take care of the water the way that Mother Nature intended, it looks great, increases property values.
Faye was a blessing in disguise, and this is what resulted.
I guess on one hand, I'm living in a place that the water came up to here one time, and now I'm living on a place where the city has taken great care to try to change that. And what's behind me is the effect of all that hard work.
Now, it's time to look to the future.
We did EWIP.
Yeah.
What else are we doing? CWIP, WIP, you know, whatever the acronym ends up to be. We should really look at doing an EWIP-esque project for each of those basins. And I think that we have to parlay what we've done with EWIP into something greater. It's a building block. It's a beginning, not an end.